Well, they're going to go into the Viper, perhaps. I mean, it's not really a lane counter to the TA, right? Like, very early on, yes, but it goes back the other way because TA just deals so much right-click damage with the splash that you're able to bully the Viper out of the lane quite effectively. As soon as you got your levels, you just got to make sure you're protecting your camps a little bit.
I don't like Viper. I feel like the only good Viper player I've seen in the recent like months is GPK. Otherwise, like Gacha Boy played it. It looked terrible. It's really bad.
Yeah.
And
what about Kezu though?
Kezu?
The Quincy crew.
Dude, Kezu was just a Viper Veno picker.
He did have I think he had an IO pair together with him as well, which, you know, it kind of helps every single time. But, well, we're looking most likely to have Mamang Daya's hero still the one remaining in the pool. It's not going to be his Batrider, not going to be his Void Spirit. Doesn't feel like the greatest Broodmother game either, so doubt we're going to be seeing that from him. Kunkka, of course, being picked up by the other team. Puck is gone, so Lesh, DK, Quap, Tinker are the heroes that are remaining. Not a terrible Tinker game. I mean, they don't have amazing gap close right now.
What do I like? I feel like TNC have like a lot of long range poke right now, which is nice. So they can like stall out a game for something. If they do want to put like DP offlane Kunkka mid, they can just pick a carry that like scales really hard. They kind of can like or I guess I mean, they can do a lot with their hero. It's kind of like weird because in my mind I'm thinking like, oh yeah, Kunkka carry, Viper mid, DP off lane. But then DP can be a hard support. Viper can be an off laner. Kunkka can be carry mid. They can kind of do whatever they want. And like Neon really should just be banning heroes that just counter their lineup because anything can go in any role.
I mean, against a lot of other teams, I would say, okay, this might be a position 5 DP, but we just haven't seen TNC run it yet, you know. And is this really the series to throw out something completely new, or is it?
Maybe.
Well, maybe, right? It's kind of like do or die a little bit, but you also feel like they have been on this upward trend, so you would hate to, you know, go away from that positive change towards things.
I mean, like, TNC's style of drafting is, like, I don't really recognize any of this as something solid in them. Like, usually, where the Kunkka Viper are, that's usually where they pull out a Febby Undying or something. So I'm like, maybe this is a Pos 5 Viper. Like, I have no idea.
It'll be dependent on what Neon pick, right? Because TNC have the last overall pick of the draft. Is Neon going to go incredibly greedy and try and pick up something like, I don't know, a PA for the safe lane, which is, again, another Pala style of hero, and, of course, a great utilizer of all of this minus armor, or are they just going to go the position 1, which, again, they've been doing 99% of the time with the TA, and they've still got their mid to come.
Yeah, I'm pretty happy with Neon's lineup so far overall. They have like lots of team fight, maybe a little bit more burst damage, like magic wise, if they catch someone. They actually don't have a lot of good catch, I would say, on Neon. Yeah. Like someone with just an instant stun.
Why I was wanting the Bane, so at least if someone's farming on their lane on their own, you can come in with that. And well, they just end up going Alina. It's not bad, right? Eventually you're going to be hitting so consistently that all that minus armor is going to do a ton of work. It's just a question about, with the lane, are you going to get bullied out a little bit too much? Not the greatest armor super early on, so even if the Kunkka ends up being the one that's going to be in this mid lane, you don't have the easiest time. You just change your build up a little bit, maybe go into a couple of braces on the Kunkka to make your life a little bit easier.
I mean, I'm personally a big fan of Lena. When you said the magic burst, potentially for the Neon lineup, I was even going to suggest her. Looking through the band, somehow she made it through. I say somehow, she's not banned consistently, right? But she has been kind of a little bit of flavor of the month too every now and then.
I mean, she's such a strong laner, right? And if you don't have great gank, you're always going to have a pretty easy time. That's why something like the Kunkka, if they were wanting to run it mid against the Lena, it's alright. And it does give the little bit of extra leeway for someone like the Rubik to be able to rotate in and have a pretty decent time. But that's going to depend on, of course, the side lanes going okay for whichever position 3 is going to be played.
Dude, how is Spirit Breaker not picked or banned?
Like that would have been the moment where it gets picked. That would have been good.
because I was thinking about it when I saw Lena. I was like, people like to.
DP.
Oh, it's 5 DP. Yeah, nice. I like that hero a lot, but I think she used to be stronger as a 5, and then they kept nerfing her like Spirit Cipher and stuff.
And the
it was, like,
silence needing the travel time rather than it just being instant as well.
Yeah, so it's like harder to execute now, but not entirely bad. I mean, it's a flex thing, right? It's like they can do whatever they want with their drafts.
I still think it's good. I need evidence to be able to see things, and we haven't really seen this DP POS 5 evidence come through from TNC just yet. So
well, with the evidence of this draft, knowing all the positions of the heroes, which way do you favor this first game going?
I like Neon's lineup a lot more. I think, like, maybe when Xiaoyu gets Atos on Viper, if that's the build he wants to go for, it's, like, kind of hard for Neon to deal with it for a while. But I also feel like PA, it's really hard to activate PA this game. Like, how is she fighting into Refraction? Like, her lane should be hard into Tide. Like, PA, they have, like, a lot of Magic Burst. Now with Lina, it seems difficult, and
I feel like you're going to be able to bully this Viper a fair amount as well, because this is a position 5 Weaver that Abang is playing, right? So I feel like the big strength with TNC's draft comes from Playhard being able to rotate to that mid lane and make kills happen alongside his Kunkka. But if you're just bodying the Viper over and over and over again and giving TA a free game, then you're not going to have the freedom to do that. So I feel like Neon are probably in a good spot.
Well, I look forward to seeing just how good of a spot Neon are going to be in as we head over to your casters, GoDz and lizZard.
Thank you very much, lovely panel. It is time for our first series of today. TNC versus OB.Neon lizZard. It's kind of a battle around the bottom of the tables. I'm still waking up here. How are you doing over there in Ukraine?
Yeah, pretty much just woke up as well, doing fine. A little bit colder here than over there where you guys are at, but doing all right in general.
You've still got the Christmas tree up. I think you had it up last week too. Is that coming down anytime?
No, that's gonna. I need some Christmas spirit in this place, and it's the Orthodox Christmas, so it actually it passed like a couple of days ago, like maybe a week ago.
Oh yeah.
So I'm not that late. I'm not that late to remove it.
And today of all days could do with some extra cheer, I believe. Obviously, there's some unfortunate, sad news that came out with the major being canceled, so I don't blame you, for wanting to bring in some holiday cheer.
Yeah, for me as well as for everyone else that's in the scene, specifically for all the teams that have already secured the spot, it's such a rough feeling. You qualify for something, you work so very much, and then it's just not there anymore. It's sad. But what that means is that this game that we're watching is probably one of the most important games at the rest of the season, because relegations, right?
Yep. Yeah, that's something that, nothing's changed for those teams yet in the middle and the bottom of the Division 1 tables. The teams that aren't making it to the major are trying to stay alive, and TNC 0-5. They need to win both their last 2 series to have a chance of staying alive in Division 1 or remaining there. And OB.Neon actually bouncing back after being 0-3 for the first half of the season, have won against T1. So they're really on a different trajectory here in the second half of the season.
Yeah, they definitely figured out some stuff, improved throughout the season, and even when you look at this draft that they've got going for themselves right now, it's very in line to the way that I feel everyone is starting to play, like with these 2-3 cores that don't necessarily have to be the ultimate win condition, but share the load. We see Mamang Daya on the Lina, then you have the TA as well, a lot of minus armor.
What do you make of this lane swap though? Mamang Daya not playing the mid lane. He's going to be going up safe lane on the Lina, and they're putting the TA mid.
I guess the Kunkka versus TA evens out more or less. I'm not sure if anything has changed. Wow, Yowie is really destroying Palace here. That's also because of the Viper on the side of TNC. I believe some lane shenanigans were expected, so they tried to dodge that Viper lane with the TA, ended up with playing TA versus Kunkka.
Okay. Yeah, so maybe they were fine with Lina versus Kunkka, but with this swap. X-Torrent mid. Can you get this kill? Palace has to Fairy Fire. Instead, the first blood is elsewhere. It's bottom lane where Febby ends up going down. No kill mid, but bottom lane they do chase down Febby with the Weaver. Weaver, one of those really pesky laning heroes.
Yeah, in this lane in particular, a Weaver plus Tidehunter, it used to be like first phased in the last couple of months. It kind of fell out of favor in other regions, but every now and then we see it pop up, and it's really strong. Plus they're playing into a PA with the Tide, right? It just feels like a good lane for Enryu and Abeng.
Reminds me a lot of the Tide with the Snapfire, just this double minus armor synergy. And Febby, again in trouble. Pushes up maybe a bit too far forward. Now the Shikuchi on in. No points in the Gemini just yet, so Abeng won't finish off the kill.
Yeah, if he had level 3 there, that would have been much, much closer. Which now he does have, but no mana, sadly, for the Weaver to actually utilize it.
Meanwhile, looking at our last lane, we haven't touched too much on top lane. You mentioned the Viper. That's why they sent the TA mid largely up against Lina, Snapfire, and Play Hard on the Rubik. A signature hero of his. He looked very good on it in their last series they played, where TNC actually, played very well against Boom. Unfortunately, they still got the loss, but definitely a TNC team that looked a whole lot better, and they're looking a whole lot better in this top lane. With the lift back, they pull back in Mamang Daya, and he's going to go down. Great chase down.
Yeah, like, if you think about Lina versus Viper, I feel like Lina could have an advantage if you're playing mid. Outranges you, just stuns you, hits you a couple of times, runs away, right? But things change when you're playing on the long lane, because you can just get chased down by a Viper with boots, and there's no tower to run to. So, nice kill that they got on the Lina. I expected this lane to perhaps go in OB.Neon's way a little bit, but that's not the case.
Yeah, there's always maybe that comfort factor where Mamang Daya probably has not played safe lane Lina many times in officials or scrims or just even pub games.
Yeah, you don't really get to do that very often, do you? Like, things are really changing when it comes to heroes that are being played on what lanes.
Yeah.
Even for me, even the TA safe lane is still kind of it just feels unnatural, right? Yep. When you see TA there,
something that just shouldn't exist.
Yeah, exactly.
It's fun. It's always changing like that. Yeah. We've got the Kunkka safe lane. That's been a more recent one too. For a while, it was let's play all these like mid heroes in the 4 position role, and now it seems to be let's play all these mid positions in the carry role. So. Just constant kind of shift of where heroes are being played in terms of farm priority and how they're being utilized.
Yeah, it came down as well with the way that mid lane is formed and the hard camps that aren't really that close any longer, so you can't really have that flash farm.
Oh, snipes a courier behind the enemy bottom tier 1 tower using that ward. And coming back in to do some harass onto Young God here. They're TPing in. The Yahweh Kunkka, they want to get this X catch. They go on Onryo on the Tidehunter. He's a big boy. Have they got the damage to bring him down with the Ghost Ship? It should be enough. Young God blinking in to finish off the kill, so they get the kill down bottom. And elsewhere, Snapfire was getting brought down top, so 2 kills go TNC's way.
Yeah, TNC is definitely outperforming, I would say, in these lanes. As on paper, I feel that their lanes are a bit more difficult to execute, but Kunkka definitely changes that with a couple of good rotations. One thing that they've got going more for themselves than OB is they have more catch. Like, it's easier for them to actually initiate and get a gank going for themselves.
How are you? Well, they say we don't have a whole lot of catch, but we'll use the little we have in the terms of the cookie. Norman sets up the Viper kill from Mamang Daya, who's looking for a second one with Playhard's Rubik also going down. 2 kills go to OB.Neon.
Okay, this is now way more in line with what I expected to happen on the top lane. If you look at Lina and Snapfire, you don't really expect these two to lose to Rubik and Viper. I know it's a long lane and everything that we said before, but there's just so much right-click potential, 2 stuns coming from them. I was surprised a little bit that they were that they even managed to kill the Lina and the Snap earlier, but with good plays, anything can happen, right?
Oh, exactly. And now that they've got some levels, perhaps that's less likely to happen. Yeah, down bottom. Same rotation we saw before. Yahweh, the second Ghost Ship in a row. It's got Onryu's name on it. And Yahweh gets a second kill onto the Tidehunter. Just happy to leave this mid lane and get these early kills.
Yeah, TA is not really a hero that will exploit that and push the tower. Right, if you were playing versus Alina, Dead Prophet, anything like that, you leave that tier 1 tower twice, it's already on 50% HP. But TA, yeah, she's just happy farming the stacks, and Yaoi so far has done a really good job at punishing the Tidehunter.
Yeah, that's the thing. Like these kills are nice on the Tidehunter, but you look at the farm of these heroes. It's TA up top. Arbeng on the Weaver in the mid lane. May get caught out by the X here. He's trying to stay out of range, but does end up getting found here with the TP coming on the Snapfire. They want to turn on this one. Play hard is low. He's got 10 sick charges, but won't get a chance to even use them as Yahweh, now in full retreat, gets caught by the cookie stun, and Palos has got himself a double kill. He was already top of the net worth farming ancient stacks, and he's getting kill after kill. 2-0 for him, and a 2k gold lead for OB.Neon.
Now maybe a little bit of the tower with a little shredder. Of course, TA looks like, yeah, Palos will just move away. Leave that to Norman. Overextending there by the Kanka. Going on Tidehunter on the bottom lane when you have the number advantage is understandable, but mid lane next to the tier 1 on a Weaver, it's a rough one. You're probably not killing him unless you really set it up pitch perfect and you have follow-up on it.
Well, we'll see if they can make amends for what has now become a kind of... the lane started fine for them and some nice Kunkka rotations, but definitely being brought into question because they are just being kind of out-greeded now. Tide dies twice down bottom, but he's still top 2 in terms of net worth and pressuring this bottom tier 1 tower where PA is kind of just got to watch this fall and kind of not do a whole lot. The PA just not happy to lane into this Tide right now, but elsewhere top lane, Norman with Mamang Daya wants to get the kill and play hard, but unfortunately the LSA is going to be off the mark and Norman the one maybe in some trouble here, but the TP rotations coming in. Yahweh goes ship onto Mamang Daya. Lina in a world of hurt as Febby helps get the kill with the Crypt Swarm. Yahweh looking just to find Arbeng, but won't get a chance to get another cleave off, so Arbeng gets himself out of there.
Yeah, Kunkka, besides that one failed move on the Weaver mid lane, overall is doing really well with all the rotations. And I feel like TNC have to do something similar to this. They have to be playing around this Viper and they have to allow him to become a beast. Take one tower, pressure top lane constantly. There's so many times you get this offlane Viper that's just food. Right? Like he dominates the lane and then he's just being swarmed on. So.
You mentioned taking that tower. That top tier 1 tower is still almost full health. It's OB.Neon the one pressuring towers for now. They're making plays around this mid lane, or at least showing a couple of heroes here. Arbeng happy to get some pot shots in on the tier 1, but keeping the Viper in his mid lane, not letting him go and pressure top. Well, I'd say his lane. He was initially off laner, but this Viper struggling to really find a good place in this game right now.
Yeah, I feel that this was a job for Rubik and not for Viper, this rotation towards the mid lane. And now that Rubik might even fall, there's Palos with haste. Never mind. Or is he gonna get him?
Changed his mind. There's an observer what's scouting him, so play hard. Steals the traps, but that's maybe not the spell he was hoping for. A Meld Strike may have saved his life there, but he just gets chased down by the haste. And elsewhere, top lane, Kiss is coming out, doing some good damage. But it's the Lina who falls first, and Febby just trying to keep himself alive with the Spirit Siphon, but looks like he should go down.
Probably. There's Tidehunter coming from the left. I'm wondering if they can maybe threaten Young God with that. But they don't really have follow-up for it. So this...
If anything, they might want Yahweh, because he's the one surrounded by, what, 2 OB.Neon heroes, potentially can get cut off by the Tidehunter.
Yeah, that's true. And the Ram is running out, so he's going to be nice and sober for that Ravage when it hits.
Yep. They don't currently see the Tidehunter, so we'll see if they maybe know he's around. We're going to be getting things underway fairly soon. It looks like both teams trying to make sure everything's working. They say go, and we'll see if they can finish off the Death Prophet and get the Kunkka as well. Kunkka trying to use that Pig Pole to get himself out of there. There is no mana for a Ravage unless he pops the Soul Ring, so... The Cookie going to help cut the distance as Arbeng comes back in, finish off Yahweh. They get the kill. 3 kills for Alina. So Mamang Daya not having the best time up top, but it's OB.Neon who are well and truly winning this early game.
Yeah, they definitely are. They just lost the tier 1 tower on top lane to the creeps while that all of that was happening in the jungle. So when it comes to objectives, it's still very similar. But OB.Neon definitely feel like the team that's taking advantage of all the mess and farming away on the TA. And like you mentioned Lina and that she's struggling a bit. She is, but then again she bought travels. And this is that one item that Lina needs to accelerate her farming. So I think Mamang Daya will come back. Damn, that kill.
That's a lot of gold. Yeah, he had a dominating streak, so Young God very happy with himself to have found that one. Just nice little trap using that Observer Sentry Ward on the cliff.
Yeah. This is definitely a game that can easily go TNC's way, no matter what the early game potential and early game advantages for OB.Neon. If they're not careful and if they give this PA the time to get to that Battle Fury BKB, it's going to be rough for OB.Neon to fight into it.
We'll see if they can create the space they need for Young God. So far, he's, you know, not being too heavily pressured. Hasn't died. His lane was a little rough against the Tide Hunter in terms of getting farm, but he did end up at least getting enough out of the lane. Problem is, you look at the net worths and you see this TA miles ahead of everybody. This just feels like that classic TA game where you kind of win your lane, you farm ancient stacks, you take Roche maybe 15 minutes in, Deso blink, and you just take over the game.
Exactly.
Can TNC stop that? Like, what's the plan to stop that from happening?
Well, maybe the smoke that they're doing right now. At least try and delay it a bit. Looks like Mamang Daya will be the one. Nope. They are moving. Very interesting smoke. I think they're expecting a setup on the PA, so they move top. But okay, now they return.
The X initiation. They'll even commit the exorcism here with the outpost. There are TP counterplays here. They need to get out quick. And they'll get out unscathed.
Yep. And this exorcism should be used for mid-tier 1 now as well, right?
Okay.
Lina is dead.
Yep.
But this is the problem with cancelling that TP with Tide Hunter. I think the TP needed to go through. Maybe they can still defend it.
Defend mid? Yeah, they want to defend this one. They bring in Palos. He's got the Desolate, so he does a lot of damage, but they've already lost Snapfire. TNC going behind the tower here. Febi's exorcism will be wearing off soon, so he's in a bit of trouble here as Palos shows up with that Deso. Febi does get the heal off, so maybe that's going to be enough to keep him alive at least a little bit longer. The Tidehunter's put himself in front of that tier 1 tower to keep himself alive a bit longer as Febi will finally go down, it looks like, into the Roshan pit looking for a deny. Roshan obliges.
Yeah.
Man, they chased him for so damn long and they couldn't even kill him in the end.
Yeah, that's very sad. Like playing a full season and not getting a major in the end.
Oh, man.
No. Too soon.
Too soon.
Too soon.
Ravage mid with the kisses to follow it up. This poor Viper. Xiao Yu is trying to do what damage he can before he goes down, but Young God showing up, trying to finish off some of these kills here. On Ryu is just not an easy one to get, and if anything, Young God's going to be a little bit careful, but Yahweh, X, followed up with the Ghost Ship. They pull on Ryu back in on the Tide. He's not that tanky. Went for the Blink Rush, no hood or anything like that, and does end up going down.
Yeah, they're converging on the tower. Also, it looks like Kunkka will try to get an additional pick-off with X marks the spot. I feel like TNC, even though they shouldn't be strong enough to be making these plays right now, they're picking OB.Neon apart a little bit. And OB.Neon is too satisfied with just farming away and giving them these small little moves.
And if you remove the TA's gold lead over the other cores, it would be TNC who have or either equal or even slightly ahead. Like that 3,000, it's a 3k gold lead and that's all the TAs. So OB.Neon do have to be a little bit careful.
Yeah, overall, I feel that OB.Neon should have been more eager to take these fights, to be defending the tier 1 tower, to not be wasting the Ravage, to maybe converge on, the moment they see TNC. Hell, I don't even think TNC should have been the ones pressuring. I feel like OB.Neon were supposed to be the ones making these moves right now.
Bang. Playing around this ward here, but there's a lot of Radiant heroes in the neighborhood. They may go hunting, and they should have maybe an idea that this has been warded. Yep. Febi brings up the courier, so he'll deward it. Bang just playing keep away while, like, as you mentioned, the team just farms. Feels like maybe they're going for a bit of a BKB timing here with both cores trying to get it, but while that's going on, Bang's being caught. Yep. Cookie not going to get him out of there, and the Snapfire should die here as well. Yahweh doing a great job. Just constantly roaming.
Yeah, I'm not sure, but OB.Neon, there's some disconnect with the way that they're playing. The tier 1 mid being killed that early on allows this kill on Lina in the triangle, right? They smoke up instantly. Yeah. And there is no protection for the Lina. There is no one standing on those stairs to break the smokes. Nothing like that. And
they tried to catch Palos top on the TA, but he able to get away from all the TP rotations in.
I feel that if you're running a draft that's as aggressive as OB.Neon's, you need to be taking these you need to have early game momentum. Like you said it perfectly well earlier. The TA 15-minute mark takes that Aegis and you just constantly pressure, right?
Yeah.
It doesn't seem that that's what they're doing. Instead, they're just farming away on Lina and TA and hoping that the rest of the team will buy them some time.
Yeah, and initially, like, some of these Tide kills didn't feel that impactful, but they're starting to add up a bit in a way where I feel like, you know, if Onryu had gone for that more, like, defensive hood build, he could have maybe survived some of these ganks and made a bit more happen for the team.
Yeah, I agree.
But we'll see if they can get things back on track. Not going to be easy for them just to go for a Roshan now. Kunkka has a BKB. Viper's already got the Atos.
Yeah, I feel
PA can show up to fights too.
Yeah, I feel it's becoming increasingly difficult. I won't like Young God to show up. He only has the Battle Fury, still needs that BKB. Once he gets the BKB, sure. You don't have to feed away this advantage that you've got. PA is second in net worth. That's not really an advantage, but that's the way the hero works. The moment you get that Battle Fury, you just blink across the map constantly from one creep wave to another. You get that farm, and with the BKB, you'll be able to fight easily.
Well, both teams staying away from each other. OB.Neon perhaps knowing that TNC can't easily take Roshan right now. It is possible, but it would take them quite some time. They're happy just to kind of push out this bottom and mid lane a bit. But for now, it's very safe, very defensive. They're going to have double BKB soon on Lina and TA. What's the play when these items come up, lizZard?
Once these items come out, you just have to try and outplay the next team fight. That's it, somehow. But look at this. Wow. You see what's happening in this little pit?
That's not the way I thought this first Roshan would go.
For sure. I completely agree. I'm not sure. I'm feeling a bit more grim perhaps than the true state of the game. Maybe I'm just depressed from the morning news, you know, and I'm being Debbie Downer, very negative and whatnot, but yeah, we'll see. Maybe OB.Neon can come back into the game somehow on top of some really good ravages.
Yeah, and definitely hats off to TNC and the way they played this game. This, you know, you've got this Rubik constantly being annoying, keeping these lanes pushed out. Does end up getting finally picked off. He's always playing behind enemy lines, it feels like, or defending these towers, and he's created this space for his team, for this PA to get a lot of farm, and for his team to take Roshan. That's a crazy pickup when you look at OB.Neon's draft, and the fact they're the ones with the TA.
Yeah, everything the TNC have done so far seem to have worked out for them, or at least put some fear in Palos. BKB, top.
You went for the TP out, couldn't get out in time. Palos finished him off. Not sure he needed to use the BKB there, but he wanted to play it safe.
Just that BKB in case there's any, I guess, any way to slow him down or stop him from that kill.
Mid lane, Young God's gonna be a little careful. Has an Aegis here, but he and his team are somewhat playing around. A lot of dire vision here. This ward in the jungle could cause some problems.
Ravage.
Blink, Ravage on 3. They kill the Death Prophet and take out the PA's Aegis instantly. Will they go for more here? The PA going to look to blink back here. Stolen Ravage! Rubik trying to do what he can, but there's just not enough follow-up initially. But TNC now showing up with numbers with the PA coming in. No BKB, no problem. Young God happy to play clean up here with these stuns on cooldown like the Ravage.
You lucky man. I feel like I feel like that's probably the best case scenario for OB.Neon to fight in. The only problem is they didn't have the BKB on TA, right? Like you mentioned. If they had that BKB on TA, the fight would have been way easier, as Ruby can just move in, steal the Ravage afterwards, and she doesn't die as fast. It was. I feel that this play was just like maybe a minute or 2 minutes too late. But still though, for OB.Neon, Lina is farming away, getting that BKB. Actually, BKB into Yules on Lina.
Ooh.
Do you agree with this? Like, it's not something that I've seen. I guess versus Kanka.
Yeah, it's kind of the old school build. Like what we see nowadays is always, you know, against a PA like a Silver Edge type build, for example. But
Yeah, right.
I'm not sure. It's one of those like kind of have to see how it goes builds as Weaver gets found in the top jungle. Do you think so? What do you see the merits being in this kind of, you know, the old school Lina build with the Yules?
There aren't plenty besides messing with Kanka's X marks the spot. That's how I see it. I think that if you needed that, there's this build on Weaver, in which Weaver goes for Yules. I feel like he could have went for it. Top lane.
Oh boy, OB.Neon. This is kind of some sloppy Dota from them. Maybe they're a bit rattled by the news this morning, because they're just getting picked apart, and TNC going to now pressure this tier 2 tower.
Yeah, and they switch things up on Lina, by the way. It's not going to be the Yules, it will be the Silver Edge. I think he thought about it a bit more. Definitely does make sense. Oh, Weaver, top lane.
Heavy. Spirit Vessel's there. I guess he wants to charge to stop the Exorcism heal, maybe? No, it's worn off, so he gets the Exorcism heal.
I mean, maybe he tried to go for that kill, but that Prophet has a gem, so you're not killing her. You're not taking her down.
You get the tier 2 tower that followed up by getting outpost control up top, so that's something that can always impact next Roshan, but that's still, you know, some time away. We're looking at least 4 minutes before that next Rosh. And for OB.Neon, they're going to use this time to maybe finish that next item or two. Silver Edge is going to be on the way for the lane, I imagine. Shadow Blade picked up already.
At least the Shadow Blade, MKB as well on TA, and then, well, MKB is not there yet, but what, 1900 gold, and once you get that, you'll be able to perhaps kill off the PA in fights. But PA already with the BKB, with the Battle Fury, closing in on the Dezo. I don't know, man.
Feels like, yeah, it feels like this gets hard because OB.Neon don't have... Their catch is essentially on reused Blink Ravaging on top of a hero and hitting them before they BKB. That seems to be how they win a fight.
Yeah, they have this Blink Shard on Snapfire, but like you said, Tidehunter is the most reliable one. Play hard, in good position there. Yep. Didn't break the smoke, though.
Yeah, do they know this is going on? They're kind of pinging around the mid lane. They seem to have an idea. Playhard even positioning himself as if he wants to tank a smoke gank here, like poking his nose out with that Blink Dagger. He insta-clears away. Dragon Slayer, it's always so nice on Rubik when you get a nuke to insta-clear waves.
Yeah, just I don't need to I don't need a Ravage, I don't need a Grip, I don't need anything like, just give me something to insta-gib the waves. Get me that farm. But this smoke that just happened from OB.Neon as well failed, and one of the main reasons why it failed is the mid-tier 1 tower. Still standing, 50% HP, you're playing... like, you have literally 2 moves to make into the Ancients, 2 ways to get there. Norm? Okay.
He's dead. I think he was planning to come in, nuke the wave, and blink away, but he walked into the wave to Scatterblast, and there was a torrent. Yahweh was just torrenting to farm, and Snapfire happened to walk into it, so... a bit unfortunate, I guess.
Just a tiny little bit happens.
Yeah. TNC won a fight now. It's a 5 versus 4. TNC are around, but they get scouted up by the trap here. Blink, Ravage, it's going to be onto the Kunkka to start things off. Palos is instantly dead with OB.Neon committing the BKBs to make sure this fight goes okay, and Zhao Yu doesn't have a BKB, so this Viper is going to get chased down, it looks like. Almost gets away, but Tidehunter just making sure they get that kill, and now what was a 4 versus 5 is suddenly a 4 versus 3. Mumandai with a BKB of his own. Looking for Febby on that Death Prophet. The Exorcism damage is too much, though. Mumandai just died. And PA elsewhere under the side dies to the Palos Templar Assassin. The MKB pickup is too much as Death Prophet killed the Lina there, but PA dying. Not worth it for TNC.
I was so on side of TNC. I felt like you just have that feeling that they're stronger, that they're in better position. But nope. Palos with that MKB just shredded through the PA, and This is a problem, like you're waiting for that BKB to run out on Tide to jump on him as PA, but you're isolated. You just get killed off so easily.
Stolen LSA onto the Templar Assassin. Follow up with that telekinesis, and Yahweh with the Torrent. Palos, no BKB. Overstaying his welcome a little bit too long, and play hard with another LSA. Catching on Ryu, who's going to force out a BKB. Luckily for the Tide, he did have enough time for that BKB to come up off cooldown. Not so fortunate for the TA.
Roshan in 10 seconds, and PA will be up. Meanwhile, TA will not. And that's why you can see Neon actually circling back into the triangle. Perhaps they can get the pick off.
That would be huge for them, but they need to get this kill quickly. Gush is there. Is there enough follow-up? Norman with the Blink Scatter Blast onto Young God. The Cookie Sun isn't there in time. PA got off the BKB, and OB.Neon just feed away 2 more kills. This should be Roshan for TNC.
Yeah, they do have buybacks on the side of OB.Neon if they wanted to contest this. Let's see if they'll use those buybacks, because remember, there are no BKBs on TNC, but yeah, it seems like they will just let it go.
I think it's too late. The bugs will scout it out, but yep.
Yeah, I don't know, Parker. This game is very interesting.
Interesting. I know what that's codename for.
Yeah.
Considering TNC looked really good the other day against Boom, and OB.Neon beat T1, this has been very sloppy with some of the mistakes I think we've seen from some of these players.
Yeah, we were caught.
And that's really, I think, why I'm describing this game as sloppy, is it just the number of casual pickoffs that just seem like, oh, this hero's out of position, just casually dies, is way more than the average Dota game.
Yeah,
professional Dota game, at least.
Sloppy is an understatement, really, so I don't blame you for calling it that way. I cowered it away with calling it interesting, but yeah, it's extremely sloppy. Like some of these plays, you don't like. You're watching it and you're kind of scratching your head. Why is this? What? Wait, what? So from this point onwards, I will refrain from trying to make any calls on what's gonna happen, and I'll just enjoy the bloodbath.
Yeah. Well, for TNC, they're smoked up as 5 with Aegis in hand. They want to take that next fight. I think, PA, I was about to say, the Shard really good this game against the Tidehunter, so PA getting the free Ag Shard is really nice for them as well.
Yeah, really nice neutral item on her as well, that Paladin Sword. Moving into the Basher afterwards, it looks like Young God is in a really good spot. He just have to be very careful at how he blinks in. He's still killable. He cannot just go in isolated. He needs his teammates around him.
Yeah. And we've seen they will happily blink Ravage any of these cores, particularly the Kunkka, since he doesn't have the Aegis to play around, so he'll die before he gets a chance to use that BKB if he gets caught in that Ravage.
Yeah, he's kind of tanky, has that Halberd BKB, but if you Ravage him, like you said, he's probably dead.
Yeah. As long as they get the chain stuns and the TA damage is there. OB.Neon want to fight. They're on the low ground here, and TNC have a ward on this cliff. This doesn't look like the best place for him to take a fight. Playhard very well positioned in these trees, and it's Norman who kind of shows himself on the wave. His smoke getting popped unintentionally. He has to blink away to the high ground, and Febby, 5 position Febby says, I'll push these towers.
Yeah, and he brought it real low as well. Almost dead, the tier 2 on the mid lane. Like, nice positioning there from TNC. Just taking the enemy high ground and camping on it. Rubik was well positioned to break any incoming smokes. Meanwhile, Febby taking the tower. That was pretty good from them.
Yeah. I mean, there's definitely been some sloppy, chaotic moments, but it's moments like this where you're like, okay, these teams, I think they're trying to, get the ship back on track.
Yeah.
I think both teams are recognizing, like, this has not been that flawless game, and TNC's like, yeah, we've got an Aegis, but let's not just, like, throw our bodies against the wall to try and win this game. Let's, do the right thing, play around our vision.
Yeah, and they're not in a rush. Well, right now, they finished off that Basher on the PA, and you still have 1 minute and 30 to work with it. So maybe it would be the right time to try and force a fight. Yeah, they smoke up.
I see Norman bottom pushing waves into the tower. I'm not sure he's the kill they want to go for. They'd much rather these bigger ones. Omryu blinks out of there. The PA's there to follow it up, and yeah, he just melts to the fan of Knives Break, and
he understood it. Like, he didn't even try to continue running there. He was, they were positioned kind of nicely to break the smoke. Just the blink was not enough. Febby
gets low. The damage isn't there, and OB.Neon. I thought the other heroes down here would just get out, but they wanted to keep this lane pressured, so they're going to lose another support in Abeng. Time-lapse back, has a Shikuchi, needs to be careful. There's a Sentry Ward that's almost in range of him. Playhard's nearby, and they are going to scout him out. Yep. Silence is there, and Abeng will end up going down. They lose 3. The Aegis will be expiring before any kind of a push comes, but these kills are starting to add up.
There's the 2 cores on the side of Neon, besides Tide, obviously, did manage to use that time to continue farming, and Aegis will evaporate very soon, so you'll be able to perhaps make a move on side of OB.Neon. Those two supports dying on bottom lane, was the correct move or not? Oh, Palos?
He's playing around this ward. He gets jumped on by the PA with the basher. Oh boy, that's definitely worth a tip there. He had an idea of what was coming his way, but he thought he could get a quick kill and get out, but not the case.
Yes, indeed. He tried to get a quick kill, I suppose, on the Viper and then TP away. I'm not really sure what the plan was there, but it's now it's hard. He has no buyback.
PA Young God happy to just blink in, get another kill. Feels like they're just picking OB.Neon apart. Febby, once again, the frontline 5 position on the Death Prophet. Pressuring this tier 3 tower, getting it low, getting it to half health, but with the buyback from Snapfire, wants to respect that, and he's going to TP himself home, go for the X pullback.
Just heal up a little bit, he was on 50% HP. Comes back in, releases the ghosts again.
Yep. Blink in from Yoe. They've caught the Lina. Can the BKB come out in time? Lina gets stunned up, does get a chance to finally use it. Tier 3 tower, still what they want to pressure here. Young God doesn't quite finish off Mamang Dai here. Nice Scatterblast to stunt the PA, who gets broken, has to blink away. Tidehunter Omryu going to finish off the kill here. He's in the front lines and managed to find himself one. He wants more. Yahweh would be a great kill on the Kunkka if they can get it, and this is the problem with pushing without the Aegis. Playhard's been scattered by the bug. Weaver wants to chase this one down. Abeng just needs 1 or 2 more right clicks to come out, but it looks like Playhard will get chased down by Omryu. This Tidehunter, he may be in the Nether Toxin fighting into the break. He's being feared up with the Spirit Siphon. Febby, he's showing his own carry prowess here. Both teams just constantly looking to fight him, with the Weaver getting caught out as well. It's an absolute bloodbath mid. I don't even know what to make of this. They're not done, lizZard. Norman says, yeah, we got some more. That's
Palos is coming in.
Yeah, they see Invis with the bugs. That's the Weaver shard. No, it's not the Weaver shard. They had the dust.
Had the dust, had the sentry there as well. Planted some 3-4 minutes ago. Yeah, like, you know what's funny? This whole high ground push actually failed because of that first kill on the Snapfire. When PA jumped in to kill her off, she was X-marked. And that's PA's mistake, small little mistake, in which she jumps in on the snap. She could have finished Narman off and then get X-marked pulled back, right? Because they had it on him. But instead he decides to BKB. The moment he decides to BKB there on the high ground, you cannot push any longer. You can, but it's super risky. And you can't really jump in with the PA, you can't really make any big plays with the PA, because without the BKB you can die, and that's pretty much what happened. They tried to fight, PA got picked off, and then they just chased them.
Yeah, they're making the limited control they have. The Snapfire buyback being the big one. Norman, he's pretty much all they control in that situation. They have the one big Ravage, but his Scatterblast, that's a 10-second cooldown stun. The Cookie, those 2 spells is what OB.Neon are relying on to kind of kite and beat TNC when those BKBs are down.
Maybe this Abyssal that PA is buying will help out with that slightly. Okay. There's the Abyssal. Now the kite potential isn't as high any longer. Roshan is also up, so I expect TNC to try and take that. But yeah, this could be huge. Either one of these teams could take a good fight around Rosh and just have huge advantage afterwards. So I think what you need to do is just not force it on both sides and try to take a decent fight before.
Okay. We'll see if either team can make that happen. For now, OB.Neon trying to get that vision advantage around the pit there. Controlling the vision above the Roshan pit. Meanwhile, TNC playing on their side. Smoke up. They want to get in there. At least get some D wards down, but they need to be careful. They show their wards here. Play hard. Pops out, and Yaoi blinks in with the X. It's on Ryu. He's got a BKB if he needs to pop it, and he's going to play it very safe. BKBs walks out of the X. Not wanting to take this fight.
Yeah, now the question is, do they go straight into the pit? Do they think that this BKB is enough? Because there is a smoke instantly from OB.
They do think it's enough. Play hard shows mid, but Tide has the blink Ravage. Does he go for this one? The Spider Leg's out of the pit from the Viper. Weaver doing a good job giving them vision with the Swarm. And Tide, no BKB for 45 seconds. He's hiding behind this tree here. Febby trying to use himself as bait with the Aeon Disc. Will they be able to find any kills here? Febby, his Aeon Disc instantly getting popped here. The Tide on the side can't find a good blink initiation. It's being cancelled for now. The X onto the Lina here. The PA charging in phase 4. There's the Blink Ravage. Catches out 3. 4 staff away onto the PA, trying to keep the PA alive. Stolen Ravage. Play hard. Look to turn this one. And it looks like OB.Neon. They're just melting with the turnaround play. Zhao Yu in the front lines with the Viper doing all kinds of damage here. Pelos is going to have to blink away. Abeng can't do much on his Weaver as well. They did manage to kill off the Kunkka. And Febby's Death Prophet unable to chase down Norman because of the spider legs, but they are still hunting. They're still fishing for this poor Snapfire. Norman in the trees, it looks like, will survive.
Yeah, it wasn't a bad Ravage at the beginning. Caught like 3 into Snapfire Morty's kisses, but the 4 staff on the Young God saves him. And then, obviously, the counter Ravage, really nicely played. It all started because of the Death Prophet silence, though. Like, yeah, Febby was on...
Oh, I was going to say, Febby did more damage than his entire team, like, combined.
He's just destroying with this Death Prophet. Throughout the game, he was on point. They'll try to fight this, but it's hard.
Yep. Weaver just walks in and gets lifted up to start off the fight here. Palace with a BKB. Takes out the Viper. The PA does manage to finish off the Weaver kill. BKB on Norman. His Snapfire on the front lines here, trying to see what he can do. But he's lost his TA, who may be forced to buy back if they want to stop this Roche going down.
I think you just let it go at this point. Even if you buy back, the Roche is way too low. I don't think you can take it. That fight was just very difficult for OB.Neon. I feel that TNC, they had this option to buy back with the Kunkka much earlier as the fight was going on, and then Roche is just uncontestable. But they greeded out, didn't buy back the Kunkka instantly, and because of that, OB.Neon realized, okay, let's actually try to take this fight. We have double damage on the TA. Yep. The moment Yaoi buys back, your fight is lost. Like, you're just going to be halberded and taken down on that TA. BKB doesn't last forever, so eventually you'll fall.
Good use of the buyback to secure themselves this Roshan, and that gets TNC a big advantage here, taking the first lane of Rax up top, and they've still got plenty of time on this Aegis. They've got Cheese and Refresher Shard. Kunkka level 25 with the fleet. Tough ask for OB.Neon to defend here. They've got 30 seconds on this TA respawn, and it looks like they don't want to commit to her buying back, so luckily they won't lose Mega Creeps here. They've got towers down bottom.
Tier 1 and Tier 2 on the bottom lane, but Lina...
blink in.
Oh,
Lina, Mamang died. Okay. Turns, gets helped out by the Yules. Now looks like Yahweh in full retreat here. Nama not so lucky, has to BKB. Can he get away from Young God? Looks like he'll be A-okay for now.
OB.Neon needs to be careful. They can still re-engage. They have that Aegis, Cheese, Refresher as well on the side of TNC.
Yep, they just re-engage right on top of the Lina. Invis is there. Is there any detection? Yes, you betcha. Play hard there with the gem. Finishes off the kill, and the Tidehunter could be next. Has to BKB to get out of the Nether Toxin. He's so low, and they can't quite finish him off. The Mortimer's Kiss is just trying to keep TNC at bay, but blinking in is Febby. The Death Prophet with the Aeon Disc and the Ghost Scepter. He's fearing them all back with the Spirit Siphons. The Blink Ravage comes out from Tide. Is there enough follow-up damage? The Rubik,
stolen.
Once again, he's stolen it. Can he get the Ravage in? 4 stuff, looking for it. Doesn't have the mana. Oh, no. Play hard. He thought it was his moment. It still is his moment. 3-hero Ravage. Young God follows it up with some good damage. He blinks in the trees as well. Norman on the Snapfire has just had enough. They GG out, and TNC are going to take game 1 of this best of 3. And an important series for Neon to try to keep themselves alive in Division 2. TNC have gotten a game victory.
A victory that was a pretty, I wouldn't say convincing one. I would then again say interesting one. OB.Neon overall trying to, play this extremely aggressive kind of a style with Lina and TA cores, which is something that's played right now, like across the board, across the regions. It's played, it's good, it can work, but you need to be a little bit more aggressive with it. Like, you need to take these objectives. Tier 1 mid, Tier 1 on their safe lane has to fall very early on. Like you mentioned, minute 15, 16, 17, Aegis, and then you constantly pressure TNC. But it felt like even though TNC have this PA that's not a hero for 20 minutes until she has Battle Fury BKB, they were the ones making all the plays. They were the ones making moves. Couple of good Ravages, couple of good initiations by OB.Neon. It didn't feel like they were completely out, but once PA hits that critical mass, I feel like that's it. The game is just becomes way too difficult.
Yep. Well, it got way too difficult, and it's TNC who get their first win in an individual game of the DPC Southeast Asia Winter Tour. So they're going to be pretty happy with themselves. It's a completely new roster. They're improving week by week, and we'll see if they can get the series win or if OB.Neon have answers for them. We're going to have a quick break, come back with our panel as we get ourselves ready for the rest of this best of 3. We'll see you there.